welcome
hell of a
Aditi
read there.
Kinkhabwala to the show. Yeah, it's a hell of a read. What's up, Aditi?
Aditi!
Hey, Dustin Fox, you just came up in conversation this past week.
Why? I better been something decent.
Because we were covering Riley Moss of the Denver Broncos.
Yes. We
And
are
so
making
then
a
there was a
comeback.
list.
We're making a comeback.
White corners making a comeback?
Is that
I
what
don't
it
know
is?
about that.
So, guys, apparently the white cornerback is an endangered species. And the list of the over the last 20 years is not very long, but our friend Dustin Fox is on that list.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I know. What is a
Carrying
bigger
the torch.
list?
Carrying the torch.
White cornerbacks, white running backs,
No, do white corners.
or black kickers?
White corners.
Yeah, white corner.
There's been
Wait,
What
you're
happened to
saying there are
Marquise-
fewer
Marquise
white
King?
corners than black kickers?
Sorry.
kickers and
I don't
punters.
know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aditi. What was that?
No, I was just saying. I was saying, is Dustin saying that there are fewer white corners than there are black kickers?
There's been 2 in the last 20 years.
Yeah. There's not many black
how
kickers.
many black
punters,
kickers?
yeah.
I'm putting together punters and kickers.
No, just kickers. I
I
can't
don't
think
even
of a
know
black
any
kicker.
black kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
What
that
about
one.
a non-white kicker? Yeah,
Well,
there you
there
go.
are quite
What's
a few,
the guy-
right?
what's the guy from-
We got Latin kickers,
Yeah, that's
European
true.
kickers,
Yeah.
What's the
And the
kid that
Asian
got
kickers,
drafted?
do not forget the Asians, guys.
the Asian kicker. Yes, yes,
kicker.
the Falcons.
Yeah.
What was the guy that drafted by the Buccaneers in like the second round?
He was
Oh.
not black.
Cairo Santos.
He was not black.
No, that was
that wasn't
Grammatica. Was it not
Santos.
Grammatica? Was it?
No, it was a different guy, but he's not black.
He was from
The
Florida State.
Steelers had a black punter, Presley Harvin. They drafted a black
That's true.
punter.
Who was that kicker? I remember that
Yeah.
kicker. It's terrible.
Roberto.
Aguayo.
Aguayo.
Yes.
All right, let's.
All right, sorry.
He
Let's
killed
get-
a turtle in
All right,
college.
moving on.
Aditi, I actually know his brother, Roberto Aguayo, oddly enough. But anyway,
Okay,
yeah, it's
small
random.
world.
We rented an Airbnb from him in Florida. It's very random. But let's get into what we're talking about here. Obviously, new allegations against Deshaun Watson coming off a Sunday where he played terribly. I know you had a game, so I'm guessing you didn't get a chance to see Deshaun Watson play. I don't know. But we were asking the question. I'm going to put you on the spot because I put all these guys on the spot, and some of them refused to answer. If you were Andrew Berry and you could use contract language to get out of Deshaun Watson's contract right now, would you do it?
Can I also plead the fifth right there?
So you already heard the fifth
I mean,
one.
I think, look, here, time is up.
Listen, you
I'm
worked
with
for the
I'm
Browns in the
Team Titus.
preseason.
You put on the,
Look,
these
I
two
mean, Adam,
are
you
employed.
don't want to hear this, but I know that you don't like this, but years ago I was Team Baker, so that colors everything.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: I am being told that there is still obviously time for Deshaun Watson to prove and show that he is indeed the elite quarterback everyone expects him to be. The argument right now is that he didn't have his starting tackles, and that certainly affected the first time out the gate. The disclosure clause certainly does indeed exist. There's certainly an opportunity for a team, if something was not disclosed, to pursue that, but I'm not sure that the Browns are ready to do that just yet, or are feeling that that is an avenue that I can't speculate on that. I don't know what that answer is. I do not believe that the leash is, whatever that cliche is, that they're done with allowing Deshaun Watson to show who Deshaun Watson is on the football field. And yeah, so moving right along, right? Can we move right along?
Yeah, go
Keep
ahead.
it moving.
Aditi, I got a question. It's something that I've been kind of thinking about the past couple of days. Obviously Deshaun has a certain type of play style. When he was in Texas with the Texans, when he was in Clemson, he was into that spread. And obviously Kevin Stefanski has two totally different things. Do you think the Browns are handcuffed because on one end you got a quarterback that has a certain play style, but you also got a two-time coach of the year that does a different play style, and the two just don't mesh, so you can't fire neither one of them because both of them are kind of good?
See, this is where I'll disagree with you or I'll quibble with you. I think it's less about Kevin Stefanski than it is about Nick Chubb and the run game. So Kevin Stefanski, to me, is not a slave to anyone's scheme. And the fact that they brought in Ken Dorsey this offseason, that they so actively tried to augment their passing games with the choice routes and the various different things that they're doing are an indication, and Kevin is still the play caller, are an indication that Kevin Stefanski is not tied or a slave to any one scheme. I mean, he said to me multiple times, my favorite plays are.
Man, that was about to be
Thought you
good.
guys got our new computer.
That was about to be good.
I don't know what happened.
She froze up on us there.
She was
I
about to
thought
say
she got a
something.
new laptop.
Yep.
The shot looked crystal clear.
It
was
was
the first
good.
time it froze.
And then it just went away.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in on what she was talking about anyway,
Yeah.
with the play
Go
calling.
ahead.
When she pops back in, I'll chime her back
Go
in.
ahead.
But Dustin, go ahead.
I just, I want to know is like, yes, to her point, Stefanski's shown an ability to adapt. He's not set in his ways and all these things. But boy, Stefanski.
Hey, Dustin, we got Aditi back. So
bring her in.
Yeah. Aditi, finish what you were saying. It froze right after the Nick
Okay,
Chubb point.
where'd you lose? I'm so sorry. Apparently, Mikey is disconnecting me. I don't know
Run
what to
game.
say. You don't like my
talking
points,
about the
do
run
you?
game, you're talking about Nick
Yeah.
Chubb. Yeah.
Right. So
He's
if Nick
not
Chubb
a slave to a
is your,
system.
if Nick Chubb is your best player, then don't you want to work off of your run game? That's that piece. But look, you can always. We had this in Seattle. I was just in Seattle this past week. They have a new offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, who, when he was in Washington, led the nation's #2 passing attack. You look at what Seattle has. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson, Smith and Jigba. Geno Smith believes that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He told us that. The profile of these wide receivers matches the profile of what Grubb had at Washington, and yet he says everything starts with the run game. They had a very choppy first half. Mike McDonald, coming off at the half, says to me, we need to get the run game going. They got the run game going in the second half with Kenneth Walker, and all of a sudden that's how they pulled away. So there's nothing wrong with trying to build off of the run game. I don't think this is about Kevin Stefanski versus Deshaun Watson. I think this is what is your best means and method of trying to win a game. I mean, I saw it when I was on the sideline last year in that Arizona game. Remember, they pitched the shutout. It was just before the Ravens game. They ran the ball so well. I mean, that's not a bad formula for this team.
So with that being said, Aditi, going into this week's game, after what you saw on Sunday, which was a lot more of the spread offense, it really looked like Deshaun was uncomfortable in it. Maybe it was because he's learning too much too soon. I don't know.
And the line play, maybe he
for
didn't
sure.
have enough time.
For sure. So all those things could be a factor. I guess with that being said, do you think Stefanski looks at it and says, okay, I gave you the full reins here week 1. Let me kind of have my hands on it as we go into the Jaguars week 2 matchup?
Do we know that he gave him full reign?
I guess I
did
don't
he have
know. Maybe
complete
I'm more
autonomy at
speculating.
the line of scrimmage?
Maybe I'm more speculating, but it sure looked different. So I assumed that was more Dorsey's influence than Stefanski's.
I mean, that may just be what the play sheet is. If
you know for a fact, feel free to chime in.
No, I mean, truthfully, I was steeped in my game, but I can tell you that
She doesn't like your questions, Dustin. Whatever you ask, she keeps freezing up right after.
All right. So I think we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately.
Okay.
This is it. But the stuff about the line, we did talk about this yesterday. Jason had the stats. The average time to throw when he was pressured was better than more than 20 teams in the league. So this idea that he had no time to throw, I just don't buy it. I think he caused a lot of his own stuff.
I also thought that he was seeing ghosts at times. And I hate to use that phrase because it makes it sound like the quarterback's scared or something like that. I don't think it's scared. I think it's more just like your clock in your head is going a little bit too fast. I think you have more time than you actually feel like you have.
Well, I mean, if you play quarterback and you get hit a couple of times, your clock gonna speed up for sure. And I will admit, he had happy feet. Yeah, he got out there and he got hit a couple of times. He was like, okay, this is what y'all doing, all right. And then he looked at one read, it wasn't there, and then tucked it and started moving when maybe sometimes he didn't necessarily have to.
To me, it looked
that's because he got hit early in the game.
I think it's a great point, and I think when you see like a young star rookie quarterback come into the league and who's never played in the league and the game's moving a little bit too fast for him, that's kind of what I thought Deshaun looked like. I mean, there's certain times where he steps in there, makes a good throw. I thought he made a few good throws, if not more than a few good throws in the game. But overall, I just thought the happy feet is a good way to put it, and just looks like somebody who hasn't played football in a long time.
And that's the thing. And it was just like, and that's why I kept telling y'all, kept asking me about, the preseason. And I kept telling y'all, I was like, it's just, I need to feel the speed of the game again.
Yeah.
And you look around and you see Kirk Cousins, he didn't have a great performance either. And it takes time. If you miss those preseason reps because practice is different, and I can't specify this enough. I get that, yes, that defense is good. That's one of the best defenses you're going to see. But game speed is just faster. It is. And if you don't get those reps, you're going to be behind. And that's why some of those throws was behind. He kept throwing, I think he threw like a slant behind people and stuff like that. And it's because the timing is just off. I know I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I told you, I said there is no excuse. If y'all decided to do y'all offseason the way that y'all decided to do it, that means that y'all saying that we ain't got no excuses coming in. And people was like, well, why didn't he play in that last preseason game? I was like, well, if you seen some of that offensive line play, you see why Kevin was like, you know what? Let me at least get you to the season. Because if you're going to take hits like that in a meaningless preseason
maybe it would have helped for him to understand that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
True.
I want to.
By the way, we're making up. We all said no excuses for the season. There's an awful lot of excuses being made.
No.
I ain't giving him none. That's their own doing.
Yeah.
This not an excuse, and I want to kind of expound on what Dustin said because we kind of glossed over it a little bit. I think he has lost a step. And as I was looking at it, and I went back and watched the film, and I was like, man, let me go back. Because sometimes when we say 2020 Watson, that just means, he threw for a bunch of yards and he was good. The 2020 Watson, I was looking at, okay, let me see how he moves. Let me see how he's moving around. Now it looks different. I think that Deshaun Watson can still escape pressure. He still does a good job of escaping pressure.
Yeah.
But when he gets out in the open and he's working off schedule, he used to have the ability to have another gear, and he had another ability to throw off platform and be accurate. I think when you have knee surgeries, a couple other surgeries, and a shoulder surgery, and now that's 4 years ago, and you can't get the same type of oomph on the ball, and it's not a big thing.
Let me ask you this.
Hold on, Ty. Before you go, Aditi's back.
Bring
She
Aditi
has
back.
one point she wants to make
go
before
ahead.
we let her go this week.
Yeah.
We'll fix these issues. But Aditi, your final point you were making.
Go ahead.
And, of course, she froze again. So that is let
me ask
Have
you
her
this.
text you a video or something.
Let me ask you this because you think about that Texans wide receiver core, and a lot of people will agree that the Browns wide receiver core is better. You would think. A lot of people would think. Okay, now listen.
There's a caveat.
I'm just saying.
My eyebrows went up because
They had the arm
he had the arm strength and they had burners.
That's my point right there.
They don't have
That's
those
the
type
point
of
that
deep guys.
So we talk about the off-schedule stuff. Because, I agree. He had a play in the game where he broke two. I thought he was sacked for sure. And he broke two of them, escaped out the pocket. And I don't remember what he did with the ball. I don't think he ended up getting sacked. But he scrambled, spent around, got out of it, and still took off. If you don't got that burner, all right, I'm going to just chuck this thing deep because I got Will Fuller or I got Brandon Cooks. I'm going to just chuck this thing and they're going to go get it. You also don't got that right now. You got guys that's timing.
Precise.
It's boom, I'm going to take this 3-step drop. When I take this first hitch, I throw the ball right here 99% of the time. He's going to be right where I throw the ball. If that timing is messed up and I got to improvise, I don't got guys that's getting open on the improvisations. Guys know, oh, snap, he's breaking the pocket. All right, forget this route. I'm going deep. He's going to throw it deep. Guys are still sticking with him. So it's that part of his element is not with the Cleveland Browns. And that's the part that I'm saying that's a different scheme than what he's used to when it comes to that.
All right, we'll leave that for now. We'll get back to Deshaun in a minute.